All right, what's up everyone? In today's video, we're going to talk about how med spas and aesthetic practices can dominate their local market by running better ads. And so if you don't know who I am, my name is Josh. I'm the founder of Wellness Leads. I work with med spas, aesthetic practices, and wellness centers. I've spent hundreds of hours of my own time personally generating leads, calling those leads, and also booking appointments for med spas and aesthetic practices. And I have booked hundreds of qualified appointments. And so just to dive right into the video here, first off, I think it's important to define what advertising is, because most of the time when people hear the word advertising, they immediately just think of like Facebook ads, but it's a little bit more than that, right? Advertising at its very simplest sense is just making our product, service, or offer known to others, right? If we just keep it as simple as possible, it's just making the thing or the offer that we have known to other people. Advertising in your local market, this often means that you're displaying messages to strangers, right? Now, if we step back in and think about like Facebook or Instagram ads or TikTok ads, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be displaying a marketing message to a complete stranger who has no idea who you are. Right. And right here, strangers are people who do not know, like, or trust you at all. So they have never heard of you, so they don't know who you are. They have no reason to like you, and they also have no reason to trust that you are a good aesthetic provider, right? Plus, there are lots of other advertisers competing for these individuals' attentions, these strangers who are scrolling on social media, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. On Facebook or Instagram, every third or fourth post is an ad. If you've ever taken any time to scroll on a social media platform, every third or fourth post is an ad. Your potential customers see dozens, hundreds, if not thousands of these messages every single day. And it is your task to stand out enough that this person would choose to click on your ad or your social media post or whatever it is and not somebody else's, right? And so this is what the average experience looks like for somebody scrolling on their social media, right? In just like a single 15-20 minute scroll session, they're going to see all of these ads from different med spas, right? I was talking to a lead yesterday and they were like, yeah, I clicked on an ad from a med spa and now I can't stop getting med spa ads. That's all I get anymore, right? And so that's kind of how this works, is that people are just bombarded with these messages all day long. Put yourself in their shoes, right? Most people open social media with no intention of submitting their information on an ad, right? I don't remember the last time I opened Instagram and I was like, I can't wait to give my information to a company, right? They open social media to waste time, doom scroll, and pretend that they're catching up with their friends and family, because that's what everybody says they use social media for, right? But really, we just watch, Instagram reels and garbage all day. Most people scroll right past an ad as soon as they realize that it's an ad, right? This is why the thing that you're offering in your ad has to be so good that a complete stranger who opens social media with the intent of doom scrolling and not submitting their information on an ad, who has no idea who you are and has never heard of you before, that they feel so compelled by what you're offering in your ad or in your social media post or whatever it is, that they would feel stupid saying no, right? It's so compelling that they would stop scrolling and pay attention to what you have to say. You have 3 seconds to get someone's attention, and in those 3 seconds you have to prove that it's worth them stopping their doom scrolling and stopping watching these dopamine reels that are keeping their attention. And this is why it drives me crazy when med spas want to run ads for boring, mediocre, or bland offers, right? I see this all the time, but I see ads from med spas where it's just like a list of your treatments that you provide. Like, how boring could that be, right? Or like a $50 off coupon. It's like, wow, that's great. Like, you're giving me a $50 off coupon. Like, that's not exciting. Or like $500 off a package of 4 or more. It's like, okay, well, how much is the package? I don't care anymore, right? Immediately don't care. Or just a straight up free consultation. Like, you think that your your doctor's time is so precious that offering a free consultation to strangers is going to get them to go, oh my gosh, that's amazing, right? The only people who can actually successfully do that are well-known names in your area. Like, if Dwayne The Rock Johnson ran an ad and he was like, hey, I'm giving away 5 minutes of my time for free, that ad would fill up in 50 seconds, right? But you're not Dwayne The Rock Johnson, right? And so you can't expect your free consultation offer with your doctor to be so compelling and so amazing that complete strangers who are doom scrolling on social media would stop and be like, oh, I've been waiting for this free consultation. Like, no, nobody cares, right? Given the state that most people are in when they're scrolling, do you really think that a free consultation with a company they've never heard of before is going to be so incredibly enticing that they'd rather submit their information on your ad for that free consultation than watch their next cat video that they're scrolling for? No, of course not. That's completely absurd. So the question here is, how do we create something that's actually so valuable that a stranger would rather submit their information to a company they've never heard of before than continue scrolling? How do we create something that's so good that someone would do that? Well, the question here is, how do we actually create valuable offers, right? Because like I said here, we have to create something that is so valuable that a stranger would stop and submit their information for it. But how do we create value? What is value in the first place, right? Well, value can be defined by a man named Alex Hormozi's value equation. So if we just take a look at this picture right here, basically what value is we have some kind of dream outcome that the person wants in the first place. So with medical spa treatments, maybe this is getting rid of fine lines on your forehead or acne scars, or if it's a body sculpting thing, it's like reducing fat in a certain area, right? That is the dream outcome. It's the thing that the person wants, right? And then if we multiply that with the perceived likelihood of achievement, so in other words, how likely do they believe that it is that they are actually going to achieve that result, right? So if they're going to see a plastic surgeon who's done 100,000 surgeries, their likelihood of achievement is much higher because they're like, okay, I'm going to an expert. The likelihood that I get the result that I want is much higher, right? Now, on the flip side, on the bottom side of this equation, the time delay is how much time it is between when you actually do the thing and when they get the results. So if I say, come in for a treatment and you'll start to see the results you want after 3 years, that's not going to be super enticing. But if I say, hey, come in for the treatment and you'll see results after 15 minutes after the treatment, that's super enticing, right? And then the other part of this, the bottom half of this equation, is the effort and sacrifice that it requires for them. So if it's like, hey, you can come in, all you have to do is sit down on the chair, and this is going to be completely free. You don't have to pay a single dime. That's going to be super valuable, right? But if you're like, hey, you have to come in, you have to do 10,000 push-ups, and you have to pay us $100,000, right? People are going to be like, well, that doesn't sound very enticing to me, right? And so the entire value equation here is, what is it that people actually want? How likely do they believe that it is going to happen? How quickly do they believe that it's going to happen? And then what effort and sacrifice is required in order for them to get that thing? And if we can maximize the top of this equation and minimize the bottom of this equation, that is how you create true value in the offers that you are providing to people in your advertising, right? So let's just do a thought experiment here, right? If I told you that you had one shot to create an ad that gets a specific person's attention, and if you fail, that you have to shut your business down, what would you say in that ad, right? So based on this value equation, what would you promise to people in order to virtually guarantee that you got their attention, right? Well, likely what you would say is, hey, I can get you exactly what you want, right? So I can get you exactly what your dream outcome is. There is a 100% chance that you'll get it, right? So I can prove to you that there is a 100% chance that you'll get what you want. You will get it immediately, so there will be no time delay at all. And it will take no effort and sacrifice for you. So you won't have to do anything and you don't have to sacrifice anything. And it's completely free, right? So it's 100% free. If I ran an ad and I said something like this, like if I said, hey, our 1-2-3 treatment completely erases wrinkles. It works 100% of the time, regardless of your unique situation. I have 1 million case studies to prove it. And as soon as you click the submit button on this ad, we're going to magically appear at your house. The treatment is going to take 30 seconds. And as soon as you look in the mirror, your wrinkles will be gone. It doesn't hurt at all. And it lasts forever, right? How hard would it be to get people to submit their information for that ad, right? The main thing that you would be combating in that case is people being like, this is way too good to be true. I just don't even believe it, right? The difficulty of actually getting people to submit their information on this is not very difficult because the value, according to this equation, is so incredibly high, right? We even have the 1 million case studies to prove it. We have 1 million people that also came in for this and got that result. So this is obviously impossible to fulfill on. Like nobody could ever possibly promise that, and it breaks like 100 gazillion rules and regulations, right? But here's a quote from a book called Sell Like Crazy by Sabri Suby that I think puts this really well, right? Just in the beginning here, you want to forget about your lawyer, forget about the industry regulations and all of that stuff for now. I want you to think about what promise or offer you'd make if you had a magic wand and there were no rules or limitations to what you could say, what you could promise, and what you could have in your offer. Now that it's down on paper, start by pulling it back to something that you can actually back up and deliver on and what won't get you sued for false advertising. You want to start really big, put it down on paper, and then dial it back from there to something that's irresistible, but you're still confident that you could deliver on. And then in a different part of the book, he also says if the offer and the guarantee that you're offering to people doesn't keep the founder up, or they don't keep the founder up at night, then they're not strong enough, right? So just to give you some examples, this is from the same book. So from that book, Sell Like Crazy by Sabri Suby. An example he gives is, he was looking for a mattress, and on one of the mattresses websites, it was just like, hey, get your mattress online, fast and free delivery. So, okay, the offer is basically, we have mattresses, we'll sell you mattresses, and we're going to deliver them to you as fast as possible, right? Now, Casper is a mattress company that you might have heard of, and their offer was, hey, get America's best reviewed mattress delivered to your door for free for a 120-night trial. So who's going to win the business in this case, right? If I'm comparing this offer and this offer, who's going to win the business, right? It's likely going to be Casper because their offer is simply better. It reverses the risk and it tells me, hey, I can get one of their mattresses, and if I don't like it after what's a 120-night trial, like 4 months or whatever, then I can just give it back, right, and get my money back. Pretty cool, right? That's pretty awesome. Who's going to win the business in this case? Obviously, it's Casper, and that's why they're like a multi-million-dollar mattress company. A second example here is, if you were looking for a home builder, something you'd often see is like, hey, we're home builders. Come take a look at our latest designs. We design luxury homes, right? An offer that Sabri Subi in that book put together for one of his clients was, hey, we'll build your new home in just 30 weeks, or we'll give you $5,000 in cash, right? And now he said that in particular with home builders, one of the biggest hurdles that a lot of people have to come over is how long it actually takes. And they say that like they'll give you like an estimate or like a timeline, and then they never meet the timeline, and it's super frustrating to work with a lot of home builders. And so he said that with this, he was basically saying, we're going to give you exactly what you want. We're going to guarantee it's going to happen in 30 weeks. And if we don't get you that thing in 30 weeks, then we're going to give you some cash, right? And so obviously, if you can't deliver on that, then you wouldn't want to promise that. But this company was confident that they'd be able to build that new home in just 30 weeks. Now, again, who's gonna win the business, right? Assuming that the work is equal, right? In all these circumstances, let's just pretend like the mattresses in this case are the exact same. Let's pretend like the quality of the home building is the exact same in this. Who's going to win the business? Who's going to get the most business? It's obviously this second one. Final example here, best SEO management. If you don't know what SEO is, it stands for search engine optimization. It's how you get your stuff ranked higher in Google. So if I just said, hey, we have the best SEO management, we're the best at SEO, right? Or if this person says, hey, we're going to guarantee that we get you ranking at the top of Google in 90 days, or if we don't get you that result, then we'll work for you for free, or we'll work with you for free until you do, right? Who's going to win the business? It's obviously going to be this one. Now, is this really necessary? Like for you as a med spa owner, is this really necessary to do? Well, you're going to spend your hard-earned dollars to get your message displayed to strangers, whether you are advertising on Facebook or Instagram, whether you're just posting stuff on social media, whether you're trying to reach out to other businesses in your area for partnerships. You are spending your hard-earned dollars in one way or another, whether it's literal physical cash or your time and your energy, right? So are thousands of other advertisers in your area. You are not the only advertiser in your local area unless you're literally the only med spa in your area, which is probably a sign that it's probably not going to work out super well, right? Just yesterday, like I said earlier in this video, I had 2 leads tell me how they clicked on one single med spa ad and now they can't stop getting ads for med spas. They're all over the place, right? It's a very crowded market. And the question is, who is going to win the business, right? The free consults in the free consults with the doctor med spa, like the person who just says, hey, come get a free consult with our doctor. Our doctor's so awesome and amazing. Or is the irresistible offer med spa going to win the business? Just be honest for a second here. Like, who do you legitimately believe is going to win that business? Okay. So what does this look like for med spas? Well, like I mentioned earlier, you want to start by creating a literal scam, like create something that is so absurd, outrageous that you would never, ever even be fathom being able to fulfill on. And then from there, you can scale it back. So let's just pretend like we want more Botox clients. What would you offer if you were to take it to the absolute far extreme, right? Well, if we just think about what they want, right? So their dream outcome is that they want all of their wrinkles and their fine lines, et cetera, erased completely. They want their perceived likelihood of achievement to be that, hey, my wrinkles and my fine lines have a 100% chance of being erased after this treatment. They want the time delay. Basically, the effects will take place immediately. So from the time they get the treatment to when they see results is as short as possible. And then they also want it to be free. They want it to take as little time as possible to administer. And they want to do absolutely nothing. No skincare, no aftercare, nothing like that, right? So if we were to create an absolutely absurd offer, it could look something like this, right? Unlimited Botox for free. So we're going to give you as much Botox as you want for completely free. All of your wrinkles and your fine lines will be erased completely within 14 days, or we'll pay you $1,000 and we'll continue to treat you until you look exactly how you want, right? That is an absurd offer that would never absolutely work, but it wouldn't be that hard to get people to opt in for it, right? Now you want to peel it back until you have something that you can legitimately fulfill on. So if we just break down all the components of everything I just said there, we had unlimited Botox for free, wrinkles and lines erased completely. We'll pay you $1,000 if it doesn't work, and we'll continue to treat you until you look how you want. How can we peel back each one of those pieces until we actually have something that we can fulfill on? So for example, maybe we can't give away unlimited Botox, but maybe we can do 20 units of Botox, right? So we say, hey, 20 units of Tox, instead of doing it for free, because we can't just go at cost for all of this, maybe we say, let's do it for $179. And that price, I'll return back to the price, but that price is that price specifically for a reason, and I'll explain that. Wrinkles and fine lines erased completely. So you could change that from, guaranteeing a specific outcome, which you're not allowed to do in the first place anyways, especially in the health and beauty space. So I wouldn't recommend saying, hey, we'll guarantee this specific result. But instead you could say, hey, if you're not we'll guarantee 100% satisfaction with your experience within 14 days. So with your experience with our med spa. Instead of saying, hey, we'll pay you $1,000 if it doesn't work, you could say, hey, we'll give you a complimentary follow-up treatment on us. So we'll cover the cost of a complimentary follow-up treatment if for whatever reason you're not satisfied with your experience. And then we, instead of saying we'll continue to treat you until you look how you want, instead you could change that into a bonus consultation, a lip flip, and a $50 product credit. And so like a $50 skincare credit or something like that. So basically what we're saying when we say we'll continue to treat you until you look how you want is we're trying to increase the perceived likelihood that they'll achieve that result. And so instead of saying that, we can throw in some bonuses that also increase the perceived likelihood that they'll achieve their desired look, right? The lip flip is going to get them looking more like what they want. If they decide to buy skincare products, then giving them this $50 off product credit is going to increase the likelihood. Getting the consultation with an expert is going to increase their perceived likelihood that they'll achieve their result, so on and so forth. So if I just kind of quickly summarize this, it would be 20 units of Tox for $179. If you're not 100% satisfied with your experience within 14 days, we'll provide a complimentary follow-up treatment on us. Plus we'll include a complimentary skincare consultation, lip flip, and a $50 product credit towards our premium skincare line. Now, also, just to kind of quickly return to the price point here, let's just say that we have the 20 units of Tox, and let's say for the lip flip, that's another, let's just call it 5 units of Botox for now, right? That would be 25 units of Botox that we're doing here, and let's just pretend like your wholesale price is $6 per unit. So you would just do 25 times 6, whatever that is. Trying to do head math here, but I can't do it. And then also you would likely have some kind of like good faith exam that you have to pay for, and that's going to be another $25, $30, right? So at the price point of $179, you are likely breaking even on this offer, right? And that's usually what I like to go for, is at least break even. If we can profit a little bit, that's great. But usually just breaking even on the front end is good enough to get people in the door. And then from there, you can upsell them into treatment plans or packages, right? So who's going to win here? Is the free consult med spa going to win, or is this med spa going to win? If I say, hey, our doctor is so amazing and awesome and cool, and they do the best Botox, and you should come in and get a free consultation, or is giving something like this away going to get that business, right? And you have to remember, and it's like in people's heads, they're also like, why would I want to break even? Like I want to profit on this front end offer, but it is very expensive in order to get new clients. Like the cost of getting a new client or a new customer is very high. The cost of keeping a client and keeping a new customer is much lower. And so we want to do whatever we have to do in order to get people in the door on the front end, even if that means breaking even on the front end offer, in order to earn that person's business. So we now have permission to continue to market to them, provide value to them, and get them in for additional treatments, treatment plans, packages, memberships, so on and so forth. And that's why the importance of the in-person sales process, and also the importance of the follow-up that you're doing with your database, is so crucial to making your business work in general. Like if you're just hoping that you can get people in on an upfront offer and make profit that way, like you are never going to succeed unless you keep your client base like super tiny. But if you're looking to scale your business, you need to understand the economics of breaking even on the front end so that you can get people in the door, so that you can upsell them a treatment plan or a package and continue to follow up with them either until they do, or to get them into a membership or something else, right? So I'm scared to offer guarantees. I was scared to offer a guarantee in my business at first too. And so I totally understand where you're coming from with this. First off, with guarantees, you want to avoid promising specific results. Like we don't want to say you will 100%, you're 100% guaranteed to erase your fine lines and wrinkles. That's murky waters. You don't want to do that. You also need to comply with all FDA guidelines, and you need to review your own state regulations. Now, with all that said, your prospects are skeptical. Okay. These are still complete strangers. They don't know you. They don't like you. They don't trust you. They're scrolling on social media. They've been burned in the past by other businesses. They've been misled. They've been lied to, and they've gotten no results with other businesses, right? If you aren't willing to guarantee any aspect of your service, why should they trust you, right? What good reason does a complete stranger have to trust you if you aren't willing to guarantee any aspect of your service or the things that you're providing, right? When you don't have a guarantee, you are placing 100% of the risk on them, because basically what you're saying is, hey, come buy this thing, come buy this Botox or whatever, just trust us, right? We're trustworthy people. This might work for you. It might not work for you. We don't really know, right? And obviously you're not saying that, but that's what's going on in people's heads. It's like, okay, I'm going to go get this Botox. Like, I have no idea who this company is. I don't know if this is going to work. I've never got Botox before, or the last time I did, the person botched my results, so on and so forth. These are all the thoughts that are going on in people's heads. They're doing their research and they understand these things. They're seeing a gazillion ads, right? You're asking a stranger to take a chance on you and part with their hard-earned money for something that they literally don't even know if it's going to work or not, right? On the flip side, a guarantee reverses some of that risk back to you as the business owner, and it reduces the friction for them to become a client or to become a customer. So using a guarantee, it makes it a smoother landing for them to actually become a client or a customer, and you're taking on some of the risk rather than putting 100% of the risk on them. Now, the common fear here is that your guarantee is going to be taken advantage of, right? So if I use a guarantee, people are just they're going to claim it, they're going to get their money back, and then I'm going to be out big, right? I'm going to lose all of this money because of this guarantee. But ask yourself this, right? If someone wasn't satisfied with your service, what would you do, right? Would you just leave them in the dark, or would you work with them until they were happy to make sure that you can save face and not get a terrible 1-star review on Google, right? The truth is that you have a guarantee no matter what. The consumer always wins. Like in most countries, there are rules and regulations that say that if for whatever reason someone isn't satisfied, or they didn't, there was, a perception of false advertising that's happening here in order to get somebody in the door to fulfill on something, and they weren't satisfied for whatever reason. In most situations, if the consumer wants to escalate things, they're going to get their money back, right? In just most of the situations, the consumer always wins. And so it's just about whether or not you actually say that you have a guarantee publicly. So every business has a guarantee. It's just about whether or not you actually say it or you advertise it. So you might as well use the fact that you have a guarantee to your advantage. And as long as you don't promise things that you can't deliver on, or you don't promise specific results that go against any rules or regulations, no one is ever going to take you up on the guarantee offer unless you are a complete disaster. And you have to trust me on this. No one ever actually says, hey, I want to claim the guarantee, because the truth is that it's more comfortable to ask to claim the guarantee than it is to just get on with your life, right? Most people, like, if they are legitimately in a scenario where they're like, wow, that company sucked and I hated it and it was terrible, they're probably still not even going to take you up on the guarantee, because asking for the guarantee is very uncomfortable, right? And so the likelihood that people actually take you up on it are very slim. And all you have to really do is just not promise something that you can't deliver on, and do an incredible job and give them an incredible experience, and they will never take you up on the guarantee, right? So it only increases the likelihood that people are going to actually come into your business in the first place, and the likelihood of anything bad happening is basically nothing, right? I had a client who ran a guarantee on one of his ads for years. Like, I asked him about it because I was looking at his ads and I was like, hey, I see that you run this guarantee. First off, he had no idea that there was even a guarantee in the first place. But second off, he said that no one has ever in his entirety of being a business owner, and for the years that he was running that campaign, no one ever asked him to take him up on that guarantee. And this was a med spa. This was an aesthetic practice. Nobody ever asked him. And so he said it was absolutely worth it because it got people in the door, but it never caused any issues for him as a business. And so now the next most logical question is, how do we avoid attracting the wrong people? Because people see this like irresistible offer, guarantee, all this stuff, and they're like, well, we're just going to attract the lowest of the low, the bottom of the barrel people who they want the super cheap thing, or they want the guaranteed result, so on and so forth. Well, what I would suggest you do is hit the subscribe button below, and you'll see my next video that I'm going to release shortly here. That one is going to be about how to only book with the right people when using an offer like this. So we use an irresistible offer to get as many people in to submit their information as possible. But then what we do from there is we have some systems in place in order to weed out the people that aren't serious and only keep the people who are serious, so that even though you use an irresistible offer, you are still going to book with people that are actually serious. The way that this is done is with proper filtering. So we filter out bad leads with proper expectation settings. So we tell them exactly what to expect, so there's no surprises, and also with proper in-person selling. So stick around. for my next video, and I will talk about that in that video. So if you want to hear how I could potentially get you a minimum of 10 to 20 qualified appointments that actually show up every single month, and if I don't get you that result, then you wouldn't pay me a single dime, then feel free to go to wellnessleads.co. That's also going to be the first link in the description below. Watch the video on that page, and then underneath that video, there's going to be a button that you can book a time to chat with me, and I hope to see you there.